B4.6 tissues and organs implants. This is quite a new topic to some of you. We've obviously been through the human side of it previous to this, but we're now going to look at plants in a bit more detail. So specialised cells in multicellular plants are organised into tissues and organs exactly the same way that humans are. So we have different cells that form tissues, that form organs, organ systems, and the organism. Plants are structured in the same way. So I've got a diagram here of a cross section of a leaf. You can see there's lots of different layers to it. I'm just going to talk you through some of those. Hopefully the diagram's not too bad and you can understand it. So I'm going to start off with the different layers. So we've got the bottom of the leaf here and the top of the leaf here. The outside edges of the leaf are called the epidermis. So we've got the upper epidermis, the top of the leaf, and the lower epidermis, which is the bottom of the leaf. So I'm going to look at the next layer down. So we can see we've got a line of cells here. All these little square things that I've drawn on here are meant to be cells. And the little purple dots inside them are the nucleus, and then you can see some of them have got green dots around them as well. These are the chloroplasts. Now also inside leaf cells you have something called a permanent vacuole. I haven't drawn all those in, but there will be another circle shape in the middle of these cells where the cell sap is stored to make sure the cell is still rigid and can make sure the leaf stays upstanding. So we've got the upper epidermis. Underneath this we've got the Palisade layer, or the mesophyll. Now there's two layers to this, and I'll explain that in a minute. The first one is directly underneath the epidermis, the upper epidermis, and this is where the first layer of sort of chlorophyll, this is where photosynthesis takes place the most. We can see the next layer down is the spongy layer, so the spongy mesophyll. We can see there's quite a lot of gaps in between these cells, and these are where the air spaces are, and I'll talk to you about why that's important in a minute. And then if we go underneath here, there's another layer of cells, but there are some gaps coming out, so there's holes in the bottom of the leaf. Now these holes are called stomata, and either side of these holes are cells called guard cells, and these control the opening and closing of these stomata. And we'll talk about a bit later on about what these stomata do and why they need to be open and closed. Also in leaves you'll find things going through them. This transports essential minerals and ions in and out, and water in and out. So in these tubes there are two different parts. There's the xylem and the phloem, and these have two different roles which I'll talk you through now. So as I've said, sorry, the sun's coming through so you can't see some of it. The epidermal tissues, they cover the surfaces and protects the plants. The Palisade Mesophyll, so the top one directly underneath the upper epidermis, its tissue contains a lot of chloroplasts which carry out photosynthesis. The next layer down, tissue contains some chloroplasts but also has big air spaces, so some photosynthesis can take place, but there's also large air spaces, so there's a large surface area to make diffusion of gases easier. Okay, so remember, plants take in carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. These are the gases that are being diffused. Talking about the xylem and the phloem, so the xylem carries water and dissolved mineral ions from the roots up to the leaves, and the phloem carries dissolved food from the leaves around the plants. Remember, the food is made in the plant, in the leaves even, through photosynthesis, and that needs to be transported around. That's transported around by the phloem. Plant organs include stems, leaves and roots. These are all, if we put all these together, they form an organ system. Just a quick reminder, so there's cells joined together to join tissues, tissues joined together to make organs, organs joined together to make organ system. Okay.